Hello, lively later life family. Welcome back to the deep dive. This is where we really focus on empowering you, helping you stretch those dollars further, and making sure you live your golden years with, confidence and peace of mind. Today's deep dive is, well, it's an important one. It's part of our Smart Spending for Seniors series.
That's right. Today, we're stepping into a topic that, for many, can feel like a really heavy burden, but it's one that is absolutely within our power to conquer. We're talking about managing debt in retirement. It's a subject that can stir up quite a lot of emotions, can't it?
It really can. It's more than just the numbers on a page, isn't it? It's how it feels deep down. I actually remember a friend of mine, David. He lives right here in Burnaby, BC. He was getting close to retirement, had a good pension lined up, still had the small mortgage, some credit card debt hanging around. And he told me, honestly, he'd lie awake sometimes just thinking about those payments. The idea of having that fixed income, knowing he couldn't just, easily earn more if needed,
Hmm.
it really weighed on him. He felt like it was stealing his peace.
Yeah, David's story is unfortunately incredibly common and really highlights a crucial point. For so many seniors, whether it's that mortgage that didn't quite get paid off or credit cards that kind of crept up, or maybe unexpected costs led to a loan, that fear of debt on a fixed income, it's not just financial stress. It really does impact everything, your sleep, your well-being, that sense of security you've worked your whole life for.
hmm So, to our lively later life family listening in, does David's experience sound familiar at all? What's maybe your biggest worry about debt in retirement? Or perhaps you found a strategy that really worked for you? Please do share your stories, your questions in the comments below. Your honesty, it helps everyone feel less alone in this, and we can all learn from each other.
Absolutely. And our mission today with this deep dive is really to help you shed some of that financial stress, help you breathe a bit easier. We truly believe your lively later life should be as stress-free as possible, and that definitely includes getting a handle on your finances. So we're going to break down some smart, actionable strategies for understanding your debt, for reducing it, helping you get on a clear path towards, well, financial freedom and really enjoying these years.
Exactly. And just a reminder, while we're not financial advisors ourselves, think of us as your guides today. We're here to simplify some potentially complex info, empower you with knowledge, with confidence, so you can make informed decisions that are right for your financial future. I'm really looking forward to digging into these strategies because I know for so many, debt can just feel like this huge weight. Let's see how we can lighten that burden together. Okay, so where do we start? First things first, right? It's pretty hard to conquer something if you don't fully understand it. So let's begin by maybe identifying the different kinds of debt you might be carrying and how each one impacts things.
Right. Broadly speaking, debt kind of falls into two main camps. First, there's secured debt. Now, this is debt that's backed by an asset. So your mortgage, for example, is secured by your home. A car loan, secured by the vehicle. The important thing here is, because there's collateral involved, these often come with lower interest rates.
Okay, that makes sense. Secured, got it. And the other type.
That would be unsecured debt. This type isn't tied to a specific asset. So think credit card debt, lines of credit, personal loans. Those all fall into this category. And they typically come with much, much higher interest rates. We also see a lot of folks carrying balances on store credit cards, and sometimes those rates are even higher than regular credit cards.
Wow, yeah. Those store cards can be tempting.
They can be. And understanding the interest rate on each debt is just absolutely critical, especially when you're on a fixed income. What people sometimes overlook is how quickly that high-interest unsecured debt can just eat away at your monthly cash flow. It can make even small, unexpected things feel really stressful. So here's a question to think about. If you have a mortgage with a relatively low interest rate and a credit card with a high one, which one really needs your immediate focus? It might feel natural to want to tackle the biggest debt first, the mortgage maybe, but that high-interest credit card, even if the balance is smaller, it's costing you far more over time. It's constantly eroding your financial flexibility. Knowing this helps you prioritize, helps you figure out where to put your energy.
That's a great point. As you're describing these, I'm kind of picturing a garden. Some debts are like those shallow weeds. Easy enough to pull out, lower interest, smaller amounts maybe. But then you've got the others. The ones with deep roots that spread fast and seem to choke everything else out. That sounds like those high-interest credit cards, identifying which is which.
Well, it's like knowing which tool you need to get the job done right, instead of just yanking blindly.
That's a perfect analogy. And once you've identified what you're really dealing with, that's when you can start making a solid plan. This is where strategist comes in, giving yourself that clear roadmap to freedom.
Okay, so let's talk strategies. I know one popular one, especially for getting some quick wins, is the debt snowball method. How does that work exactly?
Like the debt snowball. So with this one, you keep making the minimum payments on all your debts, except for the one with the smallest balance. You take every extra penny you can find and throw it at that smallest debt until it's completely gone, paid off.
Then, and this is the part people really like, you take the money you are paying on that now gone smallest debt, and you add it to the minimum payment of the next smallest debt. So your payment on that second debt gets bigger. It gets paid off faster.
I see. So it rolls downhill, kind of gathering momentum.
Exactly. It creates this snowball effect. You knock off debts one by one, starting with the easiest. It builds incredible momentum and gives you these really important psychological wins along the way. Seeing progress feels good.
It sounds motivating. What's the other main approach?
The other common one is the debt avalanche method. Now, with this approach, your focus is different. You put all your extra money towards the debt with the absolute highest interest rate first, while, again, still making minimum payments on everything else. Once that highest interest debt is paid off, you then target the one with the next highest interest rate, and so on.
Okay, so Avalanche focuses on the interest rate, Snowball focuses on the balance size.
Precisely. And if you think about the big picture, your overall financial health, the avalanche method will usually save you the most money on interest over the long term, because you're tackling the most expensive debt first. The trade-off is you might not see that first debt disappear quite as quickly as you would with the snowball.
So is one inherently better than the other?
Honestly, it really depends on you, on your personality, what keeps you motivated. The debt snowball is fantastic for those quick wins. If you feel overwhelmed, seeing those debts get crossed off the list can be a huge boost. The debt avalanche, though, is mathematically the most efficient way to save money on interest.
So it boils down to psychology versus pure math.
Kind of, yeah. The most important thing, truly, is picking the method that you know you'll actually stick with consistently. Consistency is key.
That makes sense.
And before you even pick snowball or avalanche, here's a really practical tip. Take a moment. Sit down and actually list out all your debts. Seriously. Write down who you owe, exactly how much, what the interest rate is, and what that minimum monthly payment is for each one.
Get it all down on paper or maybe a spreadsheet.
Exactly. Seeing it all laid out clearly, it can be incredibly eye-opening, but also empowering. Think of it like creating your own personal debt roadmap. It somehow makes it feel much more manageable when it's not just swirling around in your head.
That's a great tip. Okay, so sometimes just paying things down isn't the only option, right? Sometimes reorganizing makes sense. This brings us to the idea of debt consolidation.
Right. Debt consolidation. What that basically means is taking out a new loan. Often the goal is to get one with a lower interest rate and using that new loan to pay off several of your other, usually higher interest, debts, like credit cards. The main goals are usually to simplify things. You go from maybe 5 payments down to just one manageable monthly payment. And ideally, you save a good chunk of money on interest over the life of the loan.
Okay, so what kind of loans are we talking about here?
Well, common examples include things like a lower interest personal loan from a bank or credit union. Or if you own your home and have equity built up, sometimes people use a secured line of credit, like a home equity line of credit. You often hear that called a ALOC.
Right, ELOCs and reverse mortgages too. Sometimes people mention those in the context of accessing home equity, but those need some really careful thought, especially in retirement, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. Extremely careful consideration is needed. With the ALOC, you're using your home equity as collateral. That often gets you a lower interest rate, which is appealing. But you're putting your home, potentially your biggest asset, on the line. If you hit a rough patch and can't make those payments, you could, in the worst case, risk losing your home. Plus, HELOC interest rates are often variable, meaning they can go up. And if the housing market dips, the lender could potentially reduce your limit or demand repayment sooner than expected.
Yeah, that sounds risky. And reverse mortgages, how do they fit in?
Reverse mortgages are different again. They let homeowners, typically seniors, convert some of their home equity into tax-free cash. The big appeal is that you don't have to sell your home, and you don't usually make regular monthly payments on the loan itself.
Sounds good so far.
But, and it's a big but, the interest on the loan accumulates and compounds over time. So the amount you owe grows steadily larger. This means the equity in your home, which maybe you hope to leave to your kids or use for future needs, gets smaller and smaller over the years. It can be a useful tool in some specific situations, but it significantly impacts the value left in your home.
It sounds like both HELOCs and reverse mortgages have some pretty serious potential downsides to weigh against the benefits.
Definitely. I sometimes think of debt consolidation like like repotting a plant that's become root-bound and tangled. You're carefully untangling those old roots, your separate, maybe high-interest debts, and putting them into a fresh pot with better soil, that single, hopefully lower-interest loan. The goal is to help the plant thrive. But you absolutely have to understand the new soil you're using. Is it truly healthier for the long run? What are the conditions? What are the risks?
That's a really good analogy, and it leads right into something crucial we always stress here. When you're thinking about these kinds of consolidation options, especially anything involving your home equity, please don't rush. Get professional advice. Talk to someone who isn't trying to sell you a specific product, a reputable, maybe nonprofit credit counselor, or a qualified financial advisor. Here in BC, there are great organizations ready to offer unbiased advice tailored just for you. This is a big decision. You deserve to be fully informed. Don't feel
Yeah,
pressured.
so true. Take your time, get objective advice. Now, something else I often hear people ask is, okay, I'm retired now. Why should I even care about my credit score anymore?
Hmm.
It's a fair question, right? But actually, your credit score still matters. It can impact your life in several practical ways.
Oh, absolutely. It really can make a difference. Having a strong credit score, even in retirement, can affect the rates you get on insurance. Car insurance, home insurance. Better score often means lower premiums. If you decide maybe you want to downsize and rent an apartment, landlords often check credit. Even things like getting utilities set up without needing a hefty deposit sometimes depends on your credit history. Fundamentally, though, it's kind of an indicator of your overall financial health. And knowing it's in good shape, that brings real peace of mind. A low score, unfortunately, could mean paying more for things or facing difficulties with some applications.
Exactly. So how do you protect it? Or even improve it if needed? Well, the basics still apply, and they're really important. Number one, pay your bills on time, every single time. Your payment history is the single biggest factor affecting your score. Also, try to keep your balances low on credit cards, especially relative to your credit limit. Lenders look at something called credit utilization. Lower is better, and generally, try not to open a whole bunch of new credit accounts all at once, or unnecessarily.
Right. Simple habits, but they make a big difference. And here's a really practical tip everyone should do. You can get your credit report for free once a year from both Equifax Canada and TransUnion Canada. Make sure you actually do that. Check it carefully. Look for any errors or accounts you don't recognize. Mistakes happen, and those mistakes can unfairly lower your score, so it's worth checking. Think of it this way. Your credit score is like your financial reputation. You've spent a lifetime building it up, so keep it sparkling. A good reputation opens doors, and yeah, it can definitely save you money.
Well said. Keep it sparkling. I like that. Okay, finally, and this is perhaps the most important point of all. If you're feeling like debt is just overwhelming, if it's causing you constant stress and anxiety, please do not hesitate to reach out for professional help. There are some truly wonderful, compassionate resources out there specifically designed to support you, and they're often closer than you might think.
Absolutely. Nonprofit credit counseling agencies are a fantastic place to start. Organizations like the Credit Counseling Society, they have offices across Canada, including right here in Vancouver. They offer free initial consultations. That's huge. They can sit down with you, help you create a realistic budget, look at all your options. Sometimes they can even negotiate with your creditors on your behalf. Maybe set up a debt management plan if that makes sense for you. They're really there just to help you find a clear path forward, no judgment.
That's so important. And if your situation is maybe a bit more complex, perhaps you are considering consolidating with HELOC, or you have significant assets, maybe you're thinking about estate planning and how debt fits in. Then talking to a certified financial planner or an independent financial advisor might be the way to go. Again, the key is finding someone you can trust. How do you do that? Well, always make sure they're properly licensed and reputable. You can check credentials through organizations like FP Canada. Look for someone who puts your interests first.
This is such a critical point, maybe the most critical. If you're feeling isolated or just buried under the weight of debt, reaching out is genuinely a sign of strength. It really is. It's not weakness. There are caring professionals right here in BC and across the country who understand and are ready to help you navigate these challenges. Find a clear path forward. Please don't let pride or fear or embarrassment stop you from getting the support you need. You deserve to enjoy these later years fully.
So well put. Okay, well, lively later life family. Today, here on Smart Spending for Seniors, we've really dug into some comprehensive strategies for managing debt in retirement. Our whole aim has been to empower you, help move you firmly towards that feeling of financial freedom, and, importantly, genuine peace of mind.
We covered quite a bit. Understanding the difference between secured and unsecured debt, creating a clear payoff plan, whether it's the snowball or the avalanche, making smart choices about borrowing and consolidation, especially with things like HEOCs, remembering why protecting your credit score still matters, and crucially, knowing when and where to reach out for professional help. These are all such vital steps on the journey.
They really are. And remember, conquering debt, it isn't just about the numbers finally balancing out on a spreadsheet. It's truly about reclaiming your peace. It's about significantly reducing that day-to-day stress. It's ensuring you have the financial flexibility to actually enjoy every moment of your golden years. Knowing you can handle an unexpected health cost maybe, or help out a grandchild, or just travel a little without that constant nagging worry. You absolutely deserve a debt-free, lively later life.
Here, here. If this deep dive today helped you feel even a little more confident about tackling your debt, please do give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the Lively Later Life channel. You should see a subscribe button right there and hit that notification bell too. That way you won't miss out on more episodes in our Smart Spending for Seniors series or any of the other valuable content we're creating just for you.
And we genuinely would love to hear from our Lively Later Life family out there. What's maybe your biggest concern about debt right now? Or, on the flip side, what's one strategy that has really helped you on your own debt-free journey? Please share your experiences, your questions down in the comments. Your insights that could really inspire someone else, truly help others who are listening in.
Absolutely. Your voice matters here. Until next time, everyone, stay smart with your money, stay confident, and keep embracing your lively later life to the absolute fullest.